Hello, everyone. I am going live on YouTube and IG. So I'm on my Instagram at _Renaissance_Amazon_81. Hey to everybody on Instagram and YouTube. Okay, so it's Makeda Valletta. I am reporting live from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And there's many things that I wanted to talk to you about. But today, I'm especially inspired to speak about my favorite city, one of my favorite cities, New Orleans. For those of you who know me and been following me for a while, you probably heard me speak about how much I love New Orleans. You guys know this is like a second home to me. I've been in love with this city since the first time I came here 12 years ago. And I have another YouTube video where I talk about it, where I talk about why you should visit New Orleans. But I'm just like, I get on a high down here. And the thing is, it's my favorite place to party. Probably New Orleans and Cuba. And the reason why is New Orleans is so turned up. Okay, if you've never been to New Orleans, you have no idea what you're missing. And there is real healing power and properties in dancing, right? I'll always talk about this, you know. The dance videos that you guys see me post, I'm not posting them to turn people on or to seduce anybody, even though that may happen, and that's fine because that's a consequence of dance. That's one of the purposes or outcomes of dance or anything that somebody could be doing. But for me, I've been a dancer since I was 5, you know. And as an adult, I have been a serious student of African dances of the African diasporas, particularly in the Americas. And I have YouTube videos where I speak about that. And you know, I study a lot of Congolese and Afro-Caribbean, and then I'm Afro-American, and so Afro-American dance forms are also important. But I haven't spent a lot of time. I'm not as knowledgeable, or I can't always embody Afro-American dance forms as well as I can stuff from Colombia or Cuba or Haiti or something like that. So Afro-American dance forms, right? We have tap dance. I did study tap as a little girl at the Dance Theater Harlem. And I was good at it. Tap dance is an Afro-American dance form. I don't do it anymore, and I want to get back into it, but not enough time in the day. Then we have Lindy Hop, which is from my neighborhood of Harlem, which white people call swing, or a lot of people know it as swing dance, but it's called Lindy Hop. Jitterbug is what Afro-Americans call it in Harlem. And if you Google it now, the only people you see doing that are white people. And of course, we know that white people don't do it the way we do it. And so it's coming extinct, and that's another dance. Then you have Chicago Step. Chicago Step is another uniquely Afro-American dance form. You have twerking, and you have bounce from New Orleans. And I'm not a twerker or a bouncer. I study those dance forms, okay? And that's one thing I love about New Orleans is that, you have New Orleans Second Line. New Orleans Second Line, another uniquely Afro-American dance form that's badass. And if you don't know about New Orleans Second Line, you could try to look it up, but you won't find any videos that do it any justice. You just have to be down here, you know. And New Orleans is the only city that inspires me, just like New York. I always say Chicago is a beautiful city. I have a lot of love for that city, but Chicago doesn't inspire me. LA doesn't inspire me. The Bay doesn't inspire me. And I think the Bay is dope as fuck, but it doesn't inspire me, right? And Atlanta doesn't inspire me. But New York and New Orleans, right? You don't know what you're going to see when you walk around the corner. Like, shit's just like crazy. You don't know what you're going to see. There's so many stimulating things going on, so many interesting people. And New Orleans is so turned up and so wild. It is so different than the rest of America. Okay, so let me see about these stories just from the last 24 hours. Okay. Last night, I'm in Baton Rouge right now. Yesterday, you guys might have seen I did YouTube and IG Live yesterday with 3 other people. 2 of them were 22 and 23 years old. And I don't usually even I'm not around people that young a lot of times or whatever. But before I even knew how young they were, it was like, you know, they were super interesting and dope. And one of them was from Texas, one was from Baton Rouge. The one from Baton Rouge was half Senegalese and Afro-American. Very talented singer, Sinabu. Sinabu, her music, okay, her singing, she sings and she raps. Absolutely fucking talented, okay? Like song after song. Louisiana has a lot of talented people. Like the South has a lot of talent because the South is more musical than the North, you know? And that's one thing I like about the South. New Orleans is definitely like that. Louisiana is definitely like that. And very talented people just across the board down here. And that's one reason why New Orleans has always inspired me, because the talent is so thick with it, right? It's just thick. And it's so thick that it's not even thought of as a big deal so much, you know? And that's why a lot of New Orleans people have to leave New Orleans. They have to go to other places in order to make that money, because here people are like, whatever, you know, everybody's talented. Everybody could do that. And the money is not, you know. Very talented people down here that take shit to another level. So this girl's extremely talented. And then the other person was from Texas. I'm sorry. And half his mother was from Malawi and Afro-American. So very interesting mix. We're having this very interesting conversation. And that's when we decided to do this little IG live conversation. And I haven't spent much time in Baton Rouge. Usually I'm in New Orleans. So anyhow, very interesting, and I just was really inspired by that and meeting them. And we will do more conversations before I leave because they're just very interesting people. So then I went to New Orleans last night. One thing I love about New Orleans, I love the women in New Orleans, okay? I love New Orleans women more than any other, there's no Louisiana women, okay? Because I've known girls in Cali whose family is from Louisiana who are also wild, okay, and dominant. And Louisiana women kind of do what they want. You know what I'm saying? They're just wild. Their sexuality is like blah, and it's like nobody's tripping on it. You know, girls will start, like it's crazy, you know, girls would just be dancing any kind of way, and nobody's looking at the girls like, oh, she's dancing like a hoe. Oh, she's doing too much. Nobody's tripping on that shit down here. You know, and it's like girls dance for girls, which I love. And, but they're not like playing games type shit. Because some girls be doing weird shit. Like, you know, I'm definitely very attracted to women. So I'm not really with like the whole game playing and things, right? Women in New Orleans are not really like that. They're just fun. You have girls dancing with girls. So it's like, you know, everywhere, which is like the best shit ever to me. And last night I'm out dancing. And every time I go out dancing down here, there's such good dancers, okay? Very good dancers, okay? These women dance their asses off, okay? It's a challenge. And if you play basketball, you want to play with good ballers, right? If you're a musician, you want to play with good musicians. You don't want to play with some people that can't play. That's not inspiring. So for me as a dancer, I get really frustrated because I love to dance, and I love to dance to certain types of music. And when I'm in my zone, like when I'm dancing in my videos for you guys, I'm not necessarily in my zone. I'm in my house, whatever. When I'm in, like, the music is loud, it's dark, I might have had a drink or two, and there's a bunch of black people around me that's getting it in, and I get into my zone, totally different thing. And then when I'm around a bunch of people who can really, really dance, it makes me dance better. You know, it makes me dance better. And so that's why, and in New Orleans, you know, people that know me know I hate house music. Hate it, okay? Brooklyn loves house music. Brooklyn loves Afro house. I don't like it. I hate it, right? Chicago loves house music. I hate it. Like, hate is not even a big enough word. Like, I don't even have the patience to listen to Chicago house or Detroit house for 2 seconds, okay? And the wonderful thing about New Orleans is that nobody knows what house music is. When you ask them, they don't even know what you're talking about. So they definitely don't play house music down here. You know why? Because they know good music. So I love, you know, to hear, like, you know, good salsa music, trap music, hip hop. It could be reggae. Like last night I went to a reggae party, and they're mixing African music with reggae now. They're doing that in New York. They're doing that in Atlanta. I've seen it in Atlanta, I think. And I'm seeing it here. I don't see it in Chicago as much. I see it in my neighborhood in Chicago. Like there's African clubs in my neighborhood in Chicago that will mix reggae and African music. And I'm glad that African music is becoming popular because it's dope. And I love partying with Africans. Like Africans is just like African men. There's this place in Harlem called The Shrine, and it's by people from Burkina Faso. And like people get it in. And the men get it in. Like it's independent of the woman. The men be in the middle doing shit. Africans always get low. You know what I'm saying? They get low to the ground. It's low. And it's just funky. You know what I'm saying? So I love it. And then they don't act like they're too good to dance. No. And there's nothing better than dudes that can dance. You know, girls that can dance is great. But when dudes can dance, that shit's also dope. So, you know, last night, I could tell New Orleans is getting more diverse. It's Africans, a lot of Jamaicans, you know, all kinds of people, white people. And the thing about New Orleans is that white people will jump up in the middle of some shit. And white people usually don't really have any shame anyway. Like they just feel comfortable. But in New Orleans, it's like more accepted. Like I feel like you won't really see that in Atlanta. You're not going to see white people walk into a black party and start, you won't really see it in Chicago neither. But you will see it here. You'll see it in New York. You know, you see it in New York, you see it in New Orleans. And probably the Bay Area. So the thing is that there were these girls that were just such good dancers last night. They were all over each other, and I was like, this is dope. Then girls over here, all dancing with each other. Beautiful women. New Orleans has so many beautiful women, I must say. And you're just like, wow, wow, wow. And then if it's not girls dancing with girls, it's girls dancing for their man, like trying to seduce him, and the girls like super seductive. And I'm like, wow, like it's just eye candy everywhere. And so there's some girls, this girl comes up to me and like is just telling me, oh, I can't stop staring at you because you look so good. And girls don't say shit like that to me. I wish more women would say something like that to me. So to the women in the world, like a lot of people don't realize that I'm actually kind of shy. Like I'm not completely shy, but I'm kind of shy. So I'm not really flirtatious, kind of on my business, but I don't play games. So I don't like the New Orleans women. Like, no, they'll just come up to you and just be about it like that. And they look good themselves. And I'm like, and the girl that said that to me was dancing her ass off. Okay. She was dancing so well that's like, I wanted to dance with her, but I'm just like, I want to watch her too, you know? And that's how New Orleans is. I have so much love for this city. Okay, but for so many reasons, not just that, but that's a huge part of it. And so then it's like wild night, end up locking ourselves out of the car. Like the car key disappeared somewhere. So we were like 4:30 in the morning looking for a car key in a club and a bar in the street. Never found it. Had to break into the car and sleep in the car. And then in the morning get a locksmith. And the locksmith, when he finally comes after we've been there for so long, the locksmith, he gets there and he says, do you have a lighter? And we gave him a lighter. And he just lit a cigarette, started smoking a cigarette. And I'm just like, this city is so different because, like, you just showed up to work. Like, this man, a professional, to just light a cigarette in the car. Don't ask if it's okay to light a cigarette in the car. And why are you lighting a cigarette? Fix the damn fucking, the lock. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're here for. But that's New Orleans, you know? Then, you know, this black woman cop drives by because the locksmith was double parked. She tells him to move. He tried to say something. She was speaking to him like a black mother, okay? Like she wasn't playing, like, move your car. And I'm like, that's different because I don't even see older black women cops, you know what I'm saying? And just the way that she was and her authority. And it's just like, this city is very different than the rest of America, you know, down to the French words that I can't pronounce because I don't know anything about French. Down to how the women are, very different than the rest of America. And for people who are from here, they may not even notice that because it's normal to them. But New Orleans women are so bad. It's so much fun, really good looking. People here can dress. They're just fun. I love them. I just love this city. And what was the other thing I was going to say? There was something else. I don't know. I always feel like I'm in a dream when I come down here. And so this city is really important to me. But, you know, I haven't really spent time in a lot of other parts of Louisiana. So I've been in Baton Rouge once before. This is my second time in Baton Rouge. So I'm spending more time in it. I thought I didn't like Baton Rouge, but it's not as bad as I thought. But I don't have a vibe for it like I have for New Orleans, because New Orleans has been my second home for the past 12 years, ever since I've come down here. And so I'm always going to ride for this city. I remember when I first started coming down here, I wanted to move here so I could fight for this city, for the fact that the people that were moving here, you know, white people moving here from other places, didn't like the music, didn't like the street music, didn't like the second lines, which is very important to New Orleans culture and to Afro-Americans in New Orleans. And it's like, if you want silence, why would you move to New Orleans? If you want silence, I mean, and you can move to New Orleans because it's quiet neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like in New York. New York has turned up neighborhoods. We have quiet neighborhoods. You don't have to move. Don't move to Times Square if you don't want to hear a bunch of noise. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why people do that shit. But maybe it's because they think they can and want to control things. But New Orleans people, there's a resistance to that. And I don't want to see New Orleans turn into what has happened in other places like New York, where before my time, I hear about New York in the 70s, how people just would come outside with speakers and have block parties and just have the music and it was fine. You can't do that in New York now. If you do that in New York now, you know, you need all kinds of permits and all types of things to do anything. It's not going down like that. New Orleans is a city where, you know, you walk in by one place, you have music blasting. Upstairs, there's music blasting. There's somebody in the corner rapping. There is another band over here. And so, like, you just have music blaring from these different places. And it's turned up in all those places. And it's turned up on the sidewalk. You know, the party goes into the sidewalk. You're drinking on the sidewalk. And it's the only place where at 7 in the morning, you'll see elderly people stumbling around drunk, happy. People think because you're old, you can't turn up anymore. Why? Like, there's a lot of old people that come to New Orleans that be walking around drunk, having fun. You know, and so when I watched, you know, the black women here dance, and just black women in general, because, you know, I'm a dancer. I believe in black dance. And if I believe in black dance, if you are black, if you are Afro-Indigenous and you claim to love your people and be about your people and be so pro-black, how can you hate on black girls who are shaking their ass and twerking and happy? Because when you see black girls dance like that, they're happy. It feels good, okay? There are medicinal properties to that. I keep trying to tell people that. You're doubting your own people. You're doubting your own ancestors when you think, oh, that a woman is disrespecting herself because she's letting sexual energy flow through her, and she's activating her root chakra. She's gyrating, shaking. It feels good to her. It has healing properties for her energy fields, for her womb, for her spirit, and it has healing properties to those who watch it and feel some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was dancing with this dude last night, this Jamaican guy, and I wasn't even paying attention. Like, I mean, I was just dancing with him. But later, everybody's telling me, oh, he was so happy. Oh, you made his day. Oh, you. And they were laughing about how happy he was for dancing with me. I didn't even notice that it was anything. So it's like, even something like that can be healing, and for the person that is watching, who's dancing with you, there's healing properties in dancing. That's why black people dance everywhere. Look at Africa. Look at Brazil. Look at Trinidad. Look at Puerto Rico. Look at Dominican Republic. Look at Haiti. Look at Colombia. Look at Peru. Look at Atlanta. Look at all black Americans everywhere. Like, black people every fucking where we dance. And there's healing properties behind that. And it always starts in the hips. Okay? So it just doesn't make sense. And, like, these girls are getting it in last night. You know, just getting it in. And it's just a beautiful thing. And that's why also I love Cuba, because in Cuba, people also are dancing, just dancing their asses off. And not many things make me happier than that. Like, a lot of people, like, they want to go jump out of airplanes and get on roller coasters and drop 100 feet. Like, I have no desire to do that. My adrenaline rush can come from, like, a really good night of dancing to some badass music, some drinks, a blunt, and chicks that can dance, people that can dance. It's a hypnotizing vibe. that's some good sex. Like, that's my, adrenaline. I don't need to feel like I'm about to die. I don't need to feel like, I'm falling 1,000 feet to fucking my death and shit. No, that's not my idea. I like, but anyhow, I just wanted to share those notes about New Orleans. It's a very special city. And if you've never been, you should definitely come. And you should see more than Bourbon Street. You can see more than even Mardi Gras. And Mardi Gras starts like a few weeks before the day, because the actual Mardi Gras day is March 5th, but it's already starting. There's already parades and things. It's been happening. But you have to know, because there's a black Mardi Gras and then there's the white Mardi Gras. And you want to go to the black Mardi Gras. So if you ever come, just do your research on it. And so thanks for listening. I got to go do some work. I'm tired. And thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye, people.